Hello and welcome to Games from Folktales, a podcast that mixes historical research and tabletop role-playing settings. I'm your host, Timothy Ferguson. This week, I Met at Eve by Walter De La Mare. We've previously visited the poetry of Walter De La Mare on Games from Folktales, with his most famous work, The Listeners, in episode 115. For the next few months, we'll be going through his early works, grabbing anything that might be an Ars Magica faerie or magical location. Let's start with this.
I met at eve the Prince of Sleep. He was a still and lovely face. He wandered through a valley steep, lovely in a lonely place. His garb was grey of lavender, about his brows a poppy wreath burned like dim coals, and everywhere the air was sweeter for his breath. His twilight feet no sandals wore, his eyes shone faint in their own flame. Fair moths that gloomed his steps before seemed letters of his lovely name. His house is in the mountain ways, a phantom house of misty walls, whose golden flocks at evening graze, and which the moon with muffled calls. Upwelling from his shadowy springs, sweet waters shake a trembling sound. There flit the hoot owl's silent wings, there hath his web the silkworm wound. Dark in his pools clear visions lurk, and rosy as with morning buds. Along his dales of broom and birk dreams haunt his solitary woods. I met at eve the Prince of Sleep. He was a still and lovely face. He wandered through a valley steep, lovely in a lonely place.
Thanks to Larry Wilson for the recording and everyone else in his production team at LibriVox. So the King of Sleep has fairy eyes, his castle is a Reggio, his presence or his breath is morphiating and might be addictive. He can grant visions of the future. He is attended by glowing moths, which enchant the viewer with pareidolia fancies. Stats, eventually. Your saga may vary.